Hello to the brave souls who dare to face the darkness. Today I will take you to the very heart of fear with the terrifying story of the faceless child at Dongda Hospital in Hanoi, a place known as the gate to hell in the heart of the capital. Hold on to your loved ones tightly because once you step into this world, you might never escape. Dongda Hospital was built during the French colonial period, originally as a military barracks, where hundreds of people died from cholera and torture. In the 1960s, it was converted into a hospital, but the pediatric surgery department on the second floor became the focal point of mysterious deaths. Medical records show that 27 children died in Operating Room 7 from 1985 to 1995, all due to sudden heart failure despite undergoing simple surgeries. In 2015, the old building was renovated, but the architect in charge suddenly committed suicide by jumping from the second floor window. In his hand, people found a scrap of paper with the scribbled words, "They don't want it fixed." At 9:30 p.m. on October 13, 2018, a night of pouring rain and fierce winds howling like screams in the air, Nurse Nguyen Thi Hong, 27 years old, was assigned the solitary night shift on the second floor hallway. She had just sat down on the bench when she heard a faint, choked voice coming from Operating Room 7, a room that had been sealed with iron locks. "Mom, it hurts." The weak, broken voice of a child echoed through the silence. Hong shivered but thought it was just an illusion caused by the storm. Suddenly, the phone on the reception desk rang, blaring loudly. "Hello? Who is this? Help! My child!" The weak voice trailed off, followed by the sound of the line disconnecting. Hong grabbed the flashlight and left the desk. The door to Operating Room 7, which had been tightly locked, suddenly creaked open a small gap, as if something was pushing it from inside. The smell of anesthetic filled the air. She took a deep breath and pushed the door open. The room was about 20 square meters, the walls stained with yellowish spots. The rusty metal bed sat at an angle in the corner of the room, its leather strap still stained with dried blood. A broken light bulb hung from the ceiling, casting a dim red glow onto the dusty white cloth draped across the bed. Hong stepped inside, her foot catching on something soft, an old, worn-out fabric doll, its button eyes missing one side. She bent down to pick it up when... Shh! A crackling sound came from the corner. A TV screen, black as night, suddenly flickered on, showing a distorted image of a little girl in a flower dress, crying on the operating table. "Don't look!" A cold, ghostly voice whispered into her ear. Hong spun around. A tall, shadowy figure in a white coat stood behind her, holding a scalpel dripping with fresh blood. She screamed, dropped the flashlight, and ran for the door. But the iron door had slammed shut behind her. In the darkness, eerie laughter echoed throughout the room. The flashlight fell to the ground, casting a flickering light onto a corner of the wall. A faceless child, its features blurred like a foggy photograph, sitting cross-legged on the floor. It reached its long, skeletal hand toward Hong, its fingers blackened like charcoal. "Will you play peekaboo with me?" The voice, distorted and hollow, came from the radio. Hong screamed and pounded on the door in panic. Suddenly, the child stood up, its neck twisting 180 degrees, its head lolling like a broken puppet. It took slow, deliberate steps toward her, its mouth opening wide enough to swallow her whole. Inside, sharp, jagged teeth gleamed. Luckily, the security guards heard the noise and ran up, using the master key to unlock the door. When the hallway light shone inside, both of them froze in terror. The metal bed was covered in long, scratch-like marks, as if someone had clawed at it. The walls of Operating Room 7 were bleeding, forming a bloody message. "Don't abandon me!" After the incident, Hong quit her job, but every night she still heard the sound of little footsteps around her bed. She decided to return to the hospital on the night of November 2nd, 2018, with a spiritual medium. When they arrived at the door to Operating Room 7, the phone rang again. This time, a woman's voice was clear. "My daughter died here in 1993. She's so lonely. She has to stay." Suddenly, dozens of small hands reached out from the wall, pulling Hong's legs inside. The medium hurriedly lit incense and chanted, but was only able to save her when half of her body had already sunk into the cold, damp wall. Thank you for bravely following along. If you want to know the real fate of Nurse Hong and the buried secrets in Operating Room 7, make sure to click the bell and subscribe now. We'll go through the gates of hell in the next episode, and don't forget to keep the lights on, because it might be standing right behind you.